Hello, everyone. I am Scott Kober, one of the co-producers of CME Palooza, and I'd like to welcome you to 10 Years in 10 Minutes, one of our special 10 anniversary features, where we're looking back at the dawn of CME Palooza by catching up with some of the people who participated in our very first year of live broadcast 10 years ago. So I'm joined here today by Pam Beaton. Pam, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell people a little bit about who you are, what you're doing now, and maybe look back at what you were doing 10 years ago when you first appeared on CME Palooza.
Sure. My name is Pam Beaton. I am the Global Capabilities Owner of Medical Education at Sponsorships at Boehringer Ingelheim Corporate in Germany. I've been in medical education for about 17 years now, so it's been quite a trip. 10 years ago, I was working at the American College of Chest Physicians. So I've been on the supporter side for about 7 years, but prior to that, I was on the provider side at Medical Specialty Societies, and I was at Chest back then.
Okay. And you are one of the few people in CME who has not only moved, when you move jobs, you not only moved your kind of professional locale, but you physically moved. So you are obviously living abroad, and you've been living in Germany for how long now?
A year and a half. I've been in Germany for a year and a half now. Yep.
So in 2013, you presented in the very first CME Palooza on the topic of EAC CME Made Easy. So what do you remember about that very first CME Palooza experience?
What's interesting is I remember where I was sitting when I did it, because I was in the Chest new building. They just built a new building, and I was sitting in one of their extra offices because I don't think we had all come over yet. And the reason why I submitted that session is because I had just gone through the EACCME accreditation process for the Chest World Congress at the time, and I remember being incredibly frustrated by the process. So I wanted to sort of share my lessons learned and see if I could help anybody else. I remember, I think I was really nervous. This is before I really started getting involved a lot in presenting and so forth. So I remember being really nervous. I remember trying to, again, pull together all of my knowledge that I learned for this presentation. And I remember still feeling that I did not have all the answers at that time either.
Now, was that the first virtual presentation that you remember ever giving?
I think so. I'd done some live sessions when I was, again, starting my career at IMQ, the Institute for Medical Quality, on the accreditor side, but I think it was my first virtual experience.
Okay. So looking back at your presentation 10 years later, is it still relevant today? How much maybe has changed in the intervening years, and in what way have things changed?
So I think some things are still relevant in that the European accreditation system is much different than the US accreditation system. You know, at the time, and this is still true, you accredit activities, not yourself as a provider. I do know that the EACCME, they just had their meeting in Brussels last week, and they talked about well, I think it's EACME. It's how I'm supposed to say it. I still always say EACCME, EACME 3.0. I think while U.S. accreditation has evolved, and we as a community have really advanced more towards adult learning, instructional design, interprofessional, multidisciplinary, DEI, all of those things which are really critical to patient care. I don't think that European accreditation or even maybe global education has evolved as much as probably it could have. And I think what is definitely still true is that you can't plan U.S. education for European learners or just any global learners, because patient care is different. I'm now a patient of the German healthcare system. Mm-hmm. I don't have a copay. I can walk straight out after a visit. When I see doctors, they're a lot more comprehensive. They spend more time with me. but I may have to wait longer for other things, or they might order different tests or different medications that I might be used to expecting in the US. So the healthcare system is still different. I think that still holds true, is that we need to be cognizant of the different parts of the world when we do try to venture out and plan and present education in countries other than the US.
Okay. All right. So now it's time for your surprise question, your surprise non-CME question. All right. So what is the best holiday to be in Germany for?
Oh, so can I say two?
Sure.
So there's Carnival, which is like Mardi Gras, and that actually happens twice a year. But I would say pre-Christmas, because of the Christmas markets. The Christmas, Germans don't put their trees up until the night before, and so Christmas is sort of a non-event. But the Christmas markets, the Glühwein, it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Why? What makes it fun? What do you do there?
You can eat a lot of bratwurst.
Yeah.
You can get really good pommes. You can you can try different types of glühweins. You could also collect glühwein mugs. So I have a collection of about 30 glühwein mugs from the 2 Christmases I've been here. So each Christmas market has their own branded glühwein mug, and I've started collecting. I started collecting really heavily last year. This year I fell out a little bit, but you can get. Here's my little bit of German. There's Weißglühwein, there's Rosé Glühwein, and there's Rot Glühwein. So white, rosé, and red Glühwein. So you don't have to stick to the red Glühwein.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So last question. So as we mentioned at the outset, we are celebrating our 10th anniversary of CME Palooza. So why do you think CME Palooza is still around here in 2024? What did we do right?
I think setting it up is probably the initial thing I would say you did right, because it's accessible to anybody. As somebody who was on the nonprofit side for a while and had very limited budget, I couldn't travel to conferences. I couldn't attend conferences for the first few years I was in medical education. And so if I needed to stay current, there wasn't a whole lot for me, because back then we were all doing things in person. There were very few virtual opportunities. So I think the idea of the virtual aspect is just critical. The diverseness of what is covered, and sort of I think people tend to be a little more forthcoming in CME Palooza than they might be in other educational sessions or activities.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thanks, Pam. It's good to kind of catch up with you, even though we are several hours apart. We are still here together virtually. Yep. So while you won't see Pam as part of CME Palooza Spring on Wednesday, April 24th, you will see lots of people who are almost as dynamic, but not quite. So you can find out all the information about CME Palooza Spring and our agenda at the CME Palooza website on www.cmepalooza.com. So thank you, Pam, and we will see everyone soon.